Marling, and you'll see her tonight from the Troubadour. But first, speaking of music, if you can believe it, it's been 16 years since the song Everything Zen went blasting out of your car, and thus started a great career for the band Bush, one of the most successful rock bands of the 90s. 16 million albums sold later. They've got a new album and a new #1 rock track. So I sat down with my old pal Gavin Rossdale at BLT Steak, not far from here, and here's how it went.
I actually have a Stella keg at home.
Hey, so do I.
Do you use a
Stella.
kegerator guy?
Yeah.
That guy, what's his name?
Is he a Middle Eastern guy?
Yes.
Yeah, Tariq?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Thank
you. Cheers, bro. Good to see you as always. How's the Bush reunion going?
It's extraordinary. Thanks for asking. Like it really is it really has taken us by surprise. I basically wanted to make the record again and just feel like I'd done that. So it's just a tidal wave.
Mind strong, body strong, try to find equilibrium.
The Sound of Winter is the first #1 song on the alt radio chart to go #1 ever from a band that self-released an album. Were you surprised that your fans waited that long and held through all of that? I mean, they followed your career. I mean, 03 to now, that's 7 or 8 years. I know you're frustrated as a musician maybe, where the world was changing. You got married.
I mean, I did a huge, the solo record had one of the biggest songs in 2009, Love Remains the Same.
Yeah.
The solo thing was no slouch, but
you were longing for Bush the whole time.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, for sure. And especially when I'd play live, I feel so connected to being in Bush. It's hard. Like I felt that I had to almost dampen my performance when I was doing the solo stuff because it was like partial acoustic stuff. It just didn't feel who I am. And I tried before the solo record, to do Bush. And
what was the problem?
Just one of the guys didn't want to travel, really that simple. And then I thought that no one wants a reunion that isn't the complete four, so I thought I should wait, and I guess I'm just...
That was a long wait.
That's a long wait. I'm a hell of a, I'm like a dog, loyal, and I like to run.
It's all in your face, I see you break. It's like the sound of winter, bleeding love, the silent escape. You get to hang on to yourself.
You really are a team player. I mean, have you always been like that? Has it always been about a band first?
I suppose so, because that's how I began. That's how I came up, and it's a really fun thing to share the excitement. But I mean, by the way, my solo career was the most collaborative years of my life. There were people involved from whether it's Chris, who's the guitar player in Bush, or whether it's Bob Rock, who produced this record as well. There's so many people that really helped me massively that it was always an ironic title, solo.
Tell me a little bit about the making of The Sea of Memories with Bob Rock, the producer, that collaboration.
Actually, almost polar opposites of what I used to do, because when I began in Bush, I used to sort of write the songs on acoustic guitar. They were like folk songs that turned into rock songs. And I would take them to Nigel, and we would demo them up. Now, the way the advent of home studios, you can make something sound like quite complete just alone, the way technology has moved on. So I almost began this like in the same way that hip-hop producers make tracks. I work backwards and I create atmospheres, and then I sing on those atmospheres.
When was the first time you really knew you wanted to do music? Take me back to London. Like, what was around in your environment?
Because I grew up down the road from a record store. What I would do is I spend all my money, pocket money, on records. So I'd go up there, and they basically they'd love to give me an education as to, I want to buy this single. They say, well, why didn't you try this band out? Why didn't you try this?
So did your first band sound like an amalgamation of all these records that you would buy because it was you just sort of mimicking what you were into? What was your first band?
Well, I suppose so. It was a band called Midnight, but no, weirdly enough, it took me 2 bands to just find my voice, literally, and to really connect all the dots. And in a way, when I did Bush, was when I really managed to corral all the different influences and put it together into something valuable. When I first heard the demos that we did, and that was like Come Down, Little Things, Machine Head, and I remember hearing it in my bath, and because I used to have a doctor's trolley, the antique, and it used to have a record player on it, and it had that sort of hi-fi, and the speakers, I'd move up and down my corridor in my apartment where I lived.
This is how you listened to the demos?
Yeah. I remember having this sort of flash of like finally feeling satisfaction about it, because I was thinking, well, no matter what, it's cool. And all the bands you like are cool, and so if you're cool, you're successful.
Right.
That's what I felt. I felt cool. So therefore, then when it all took off, and I come over here, and it kind of took off, that was all this kind of craziest ride of my life, because I just didn't expect any of that.
Touch the sky because now we are weightless, floating out into empty spaces.
This might be too inside music, but I think our fans are interested. How do you find your physical voice? Especially you, because you have one of the more distinct frontman voices in rock history.
Well, you know what's weird
Did
about
you sing
that?
higher or lower in the beginning, in the midnight?
Well, what's really weird is that my voice was always the whipping boy, the reason why we couldn't get places.
Your voice was a hindrance in the beginning.
Yes.
Why?
Well, because I was still learning it, and that was the easy get out clause for anybody. What's weird is that then turns into what becomes the most distinctive part. But it just took a lot of self-belief, tenacity, and maybe stupidity, because I just kept on going, because I felt this burning desire, which I still have,
Right.
to just to do it.
You sound, I get a sense of great sort of personal satisfaction outside of the business, outside of the word successful, you're already successful, about this record, The Sea of Memories.
What has struck me about this record, the most interesting thing, is that what it is, it's the confluence of everybody who's involved in it doing their job really well.
Right.
That's what it is.
You're a really nice guy. I mean, you must, at somewhere in your body, want to call somebody at some record label somewhere and tell them to F off. Because you're doing this your way and it's paying off.
Yeah, but you know, sometimes in life, like, success is the loudest weapon.
Right. Thanks.
Thanks,
Great
Carson.
to see you.
Great to see you too.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Baby, come home again. Baby, come
Thanks to Gavin. Great to see him again. You can support him and Bush by picking up their new album, The Sea of Memories. It's out now.